I have a guest I'd like to welcome to Morning Rush, Tatenda Nyachega. He's an economist with CEO Africa Roundtable. Tatenda, good to see you again, my brother. Welcome to Morning Rush.
Thank you, Andy. Good morning.
Now, CEO Roundtable, you host a lot of events over the years, over the months. I know that. I've been to a lot of them. But your premier event, of course, is the annual Roundtable, which brings together C-suite executives from across the continent, obviously with the aim of looking at and trying to resolve some of the country's African challenges, the ultimate goal of structuring deals. Talk to me about this, this sort of premier event you have, the annual Roundtable.
Thank you, Andy. CEO Africa Roundtable, just as it may be in the name, for the sake of those who do not know what we are all about.
Of course.
So the CEO Africa Roundtable is a platform for C-suite, just like I highlighted, the CEOs and senior executives, both from the private sector and the public sector. But this platform is aimed at championing sustainable and inclusive economic development across the African continent. And as we speak to date, we have got 5 chapters in the region, starting with Zimbabwe. We are also in Malawi, Zambia, Botswana, and we are now talking of Rwanda. And we also have some strategic partnerships with the already existing CEOs platform in Ghana, Uganda, and Tanzania. So the whole idea about our premier event, just like you highlighted, that we've got a lot of other events that we do during the course of the year. But our premier event is the annual roundtable, where we bring on board more than 500 executives across board or across the region, with the aim of discussing pertinent issues that the African continent is facing. And when we talk of this year, the annual roundtable is scheduled for 12 to 15 June. And the issues that we want to talk about, I think we are growing into a digital economy, and issues of artificial intelligence come into play. So those are some of the issues. Yeah. Artificial intelligence. We are also going to talk about the finance markets. We were talking about the Zimbabwean recent monetary policy. Yeah. We want to look on the issues of finance markets. How do we restore confidence? How do we bring issues of the general citizens saving again? We are also going to talk about the geopolitical shifts. How then do we manage it as business to ensure that at least we also remain relevant and are also saving the
what I like is that the theme of your premier event, annual roundtable, it speaks to what Africa wants to do. We want to modernize, reshape, and grow. And I think that kind of vision is important for us. We need to be moving, not into the 21st, but even the 22nd century. We need to do it quickly.
Sure. So the theme was coined around some of the topics, just like as I was highlighting. When you talk of modernizing, when you talk of reshaping, when you talk of then growing into the future, then the issues, when you talk of transitioning from the colonial cities to modern cities, when you talk of these issues of AI or the digital economy, then these are the recent issues, these are the modern issues. So as a continent, we also need to move in or to keep in pace with the happenings that are happening at the global level.
But that also implies to a certain degree that we need to reconfigure, or in fact, as you say in the theme of the conference, a reshape. Because in a way, we probably may need to start reshaping our economies in the way that they work. You know, moving back from this old traditional brick and mortar marketing, having big sales teams, yada yada. So not just our economy, but even our individual businesses need to be changed.
Sure. Definitely. I think it begins not only from the business perspective, but even at individual levels, where we're expecting individuals, where we're expecting institutions and systems to also change, so that at least we match what the global market, because otherwise, if we don't change, or if we don't suit what the environment is requiring us, then as business at large, then we'll be left out of the market.
But, okay, now I understand that you're having CEOs, C-suite executives coming to the annual roundtable. Where are people in all of this? In this discussion, us, me and you as people, rather than, you know, C-suites. What benefit does these sort of discussions have to, you know, on the ground?
So I think when you talk of C-suits, these are representatives, or these are representatives of the general citizens, because once there's no CEO without the other general staff, which are the general people that we are talking about. But bringing these C-suits or maybe CEOs on board is to try and having an impact in terms of the strategies of this organization. So engaging or maybe targeting the CEOs it's a way of trying to model or maybe hitting the head, so that at least it cascades from the head going downwards. So these CEOs and senior executives, they are representatives of the general citizens or the general populace.
Now I know you mentioned it. Just can you repeat, when is it going to be held? Where is it going to be held?
We are talking of 12 to 15 June 2024, and we are in Victoria Falls this year at Elephant Hills Resort. And there are a lot of activities that we're going to talk about besides being in Victoria Falls. And I think there's a day when also these CEOs and senior executives will also cross the border to go and visit Chobe National Park, and just to try to see the other activities.
Very nice. And you can still come to CEO Africa Roundtable and register if you need to as a company.
Definitely. It's registration is always on through the course of the year.
Now, while I have you, I've just got a couple of minutes left, but I want to talk about Zig. And I mean, as you said, you represent CEOs and C-suite executives of large corporations, not just only in Zimbabwe, but also your same organization in other countries. One thing that's concerning, and I talked about in the first hour, is this conversion to Zig and the way that we're seeing a depreciation in Zig based on the cost pricing from changing it from US to Zig. I mean, if you go into any supermarket now, if you try and convert the price at the official Zig rate, you're looking at prices of 16 to 1, 18 to 1, when the actual Zig rate is 13.45. Well, I mean, I know business is some business are highly supportive of this, some are lukewarm, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think business has to get behind it. What are your views?
I think I liked how we have coined it at some point last week, where we were saying there's cautious optimism. By cautious optimism, I think the business world, when you listen to the announcement by the governor, Dr. Mshaiwan, the statement itself addresses some of the issues that have been maybe pertinent within the business circles. Because the business, what it needs, it's a stable environment where inflation, exchange rate is a bit stable. But the question then becomes, what he gave to the nation, what he presented to the nation, how then is it going to be a reality? And I think the business is forgiven or pardoned maybe for not giving full support or maybe belief on the announcement, on the basis that the history itself tells us differently. And I think recently I was talking to someone to say, okay, when you talk of the monetary policy, where you want to bring stability to the exchange rate, you want to bring stability to the issues of inflation, but above all bring issues to do with confidence and their trust amongst the consumers and amongst the business, then there are some key steps that you need to take as an authority or as a policymaker to ensure that you attain the issues of trust and confidence. For instance, I was just asking to say, what was going to be the impact if the governor had engaged external auditors to say, okay, the ZIG is going to be backed, since he announced the ZIG is going to be backed by foreign currency and gold reserves, then this external auditor will then say, I've audited the RBZ in terms of the stocks of gold and foreign currency, this much. And then they produce the ZIG based on that. Then I think that was going to give a different narrative in terms of trust and confidence. Well, but all these happenings, Andy, they give you a big question, because we are just barely 2 weeks into the announcement of the new currency, and we are already talking of these fluctuations, which definitely have got a huge impact in terms of the operating environment.
I think the bottom line is, however, as far as I'm concerned, we need to support the ZIG, we need to see how it works, and I think business also needs to come on board. They can't be overpricing, they can't be trading the ZIG in formal shops at 18 to 1. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Nothing has moved, nothing has changed yet already. In the shop prices, you see a depreciation, and of course, if it's happening in the shops, it means it's happening in the streets. But anyway, Tatenda Nyachega, Economist to CEO Africa Roundtable, thank you for coming in. Guys, make sure you're in Vic Falls, 12 to 15 June, Victoria Falls, for the annual premier event, annual roundtable. That's CEO Africa Roundtable. There's still seats available, so get hold of them if you'd like to go. Tatenda, thank you, sir, for coming on to Morning Rush.
Konapo, ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.